Hello everyone. I, Akshaya Ji of second year BBA from Seshadripuram College, will explain a topic from the subject Commercial Law, and the topic is Essentials for a Valid Contract. Before learning the essentials of a valid contract, first let us learn what is a contract. According to the Indian Contract Act of 1872, an agreement which is enforceable by law is a contract. Agreement is where two people come in mutual understanding for exchange of things or exchange of money or asset, anything. When this agreement is done according to the rules and regulations of the government, then it is considered as a contract. Next is valid contract. A valid contract is an agreement which is enforceable by law. Now, for an agreement to become enforceable by law, there are certain rules and regulations to be followed, that is according to the government. For example, an agreement should be done on a certain stamp paper, and the signature should be done from both the parties, and some evidence signature should be done. Like this, there are few rules and regulations and few essentials which should be followed. Once all these essentials are followed, then only it is considered as a valid contract. Now, these essentials in brief are here as follows. First one is proper offerer and acceptance. An agreement will always take place between two people. One person is the offerer and another person is the acceptance. Here, there must be at least two parties, one making the offer and the other accepting it. For example, I am selling my vehicle to one of my friend for certain amount. So here I am the person who is offering, and my friend is the person who is accepting the offer. Therefore, there should be presence of two people in order to make a contract valid. The second one is intention to create a legal relationship. There must be an intention among the parties to create a legal relationship. Now, apart from whatever personal relationship we are having with our party, once the contract is made or an agreement is made, a legal relationship will be created among us. For example, I am selling my vehicle to my best friend. In personal life, she is my close one, but when we both are in the court of law, it will be seen as we both are parties of the mutual agreement. Therefore, a legal relationship will be created between our these two parties. The third essential is capacity of parties. The parties of an agreement must be competent to contract, that is, they must be capable of entering into a contract. Now, one of the major rule according to the government is that a person who has not attained the age of 18 years can never be signed in a contract. If he is below 18 years, he is considered as a minor, and above 18 years is a major. A minor person can never be signed or never be considered as a party in a contract or an agreement. If he or she is considered and an agreement is made, then it is a malpractice and it will be considered as a fraud. The fourth essential is lawful consideration. An agreement must be supported by lawful consideration. Consideration means something in return. Now, when two people are in a contract, the main intention will be in exchange of goods or service or money or asset, anything. For example, I am selling my vehicle to my friend or to my party. My consideration is, when I'm selling my vehicle, I'm receiving the money, so money will be my consideration or something in return for me. And for my friend, she is receiving the vehicle and she is giving her money to me. Therefore, since she is receiving my vehicle, the consideration for her or something in return for her will be the vehicle. And contract will be essential, the contract will be valid only when there is something presence of in return, or there is something presence of consideration between both the parties. Next is free from consent. There must be free from consent of the parties of the contract. Here, consent means fraud practices, misrepresentation or malpractices and such things. In an agreement, these fraud practices, malpractices should not be done. If it is done, then it will be illegal and it will not be considered as a valid contract. For example, I would have told my opponent party that I'll give him or pay him back 60,000, but in the agreement papers I would have mentioned that only 40,000. that is called as misrepresentation or fraud practice. If this is done, then it is illegal, then it is not a valid contract. The next is the lawful object. The object of an agreement must be lawful. That is, the main intention of the agreement is according to the laws. The whatever the intention, in what intention we are doing an agreement should be clearly mentioned in the agreement papers. And also, if there is any damage in exchanging of properties or any such thing, it should be clearly mentioned. For example, I am selling my asset to my opponent party, and the asset is having a few damages in the time of construction or anything. There might be few damages. All that things should be clearly mentioned in the agreement paper, and the main objective is selling and receiving money. All that should be clearly mentioned in the agreement papers. Next is, the agreement must not be expressly declared void. An agreement must not have been declared void expressly under the provisions of the section 24 to 30 of the Indian Contract Act. Now, this says that a void contract will never be considered as a valid contract. Void contract means a contract which is not according to the rules and regulations of the government. For example, in the beginning of a contract itself, if I am making an agreement with a party who is below 18 years, then it is a void contract. Therefore, this type of contract will not be considered as a valid contract. Next is certainty of meaning. The terms of the agreement must be certain. That is, what and all are the terms, the conditions which is mentioned in the agreement should be meaningful and it should be clearly mentioned. Like if it is unmeaningful and it is not cleared, then it is not a valid contract. Whatever agreement or what and all are the basis in which the agreement are made, the clarity should be given very clearly so that it is easily understandable. If it is not clear, means it is not considered as a valid contract. Now, for example, I am purchasing certain goods from one of the industry, and in that agreement I have not mentioned the exact date in which that goods should be delivered to me. So there is no proper meaning in that. It is not clear. Therefore, it is not a valid contract. Next is possibility of performance. The terms of the agreement must be such as are capable of performance. For example, now in an agreement, what and all we have agreed or the things which we have mentioned, it should be possibility, or the possibility should be clear. Now, if I have asked one of the industry in Delhi to deliver some goods to me in Mysore, but I have mentioned that it should be delivered by tomorrow itself. So it is not possible to deliver the goods within one day from Delhi to Mysore. Therefore, this is not the possibility of this performance is not clear, and it is not possible also. Therefore, it is not essential. It is not a valid contract. The last step is the legal formalities. The agreement must comply with the necessity formalities as to writing, registration, stamping, etc. Now, whatever agreement which we are doing, it should be done legally. In order to do legally, there are certain things should be followed. For example, the stamp paper in which the typing is done, the signature of the parties, the signature of the uh, assistants or the officers, or the signature of evidence, everything should be done and mentioned clearly. Only then it is called as a legal formalities. Only then it is called as a valid contract. So these are the essentials of a valid contract. I hope you understood it. Thank you.